evidence collected from the crime scene and from our suspects, the drug dealer is our prime suspect for the murder of the victim, Dean Johnson. When we took the 4 suspects' phones away, we found that the drug dealer was trying to sell drugs to Dean, who then wanted to sell those drugs to 2 other suspects, a couple who were his own customers, all on one night. This shows that all but one of the suspects must have been with Dean at some point of the night. We interviewed our 4 suspects to find that our final suspect, the accused, was working for the drug dealer and was delivering drugs to Dean Johnson on the night he was killed. We also found out that the drug dealer had stopped selling drugs at the same time that Dean started. Finally, the couple had been previously known for arson, but not murder. We then went to the crime scene to see if we could find some evidence pointing towards one particular person. Along with the dead body, we also found a burnt car, which we later found out was just the couple committing another arson crime, denim jean samples, and we later found a black sock with blood on it, some duct tape ripped off the top of a drug bag, and a gun. The drug dealer's jeans matched the jean sample from the crime scene, which tells us that he was definitely there. It was also his black sock, which contained the blood in the pattern of finger marks. DNA studies showed that it was Dean's blood. The gun belonged to the accused, but there were no fingerprints telling us for sure who it was that used it. However, when we inspected the body, it was reaching towards the car, with 3 bullet wounds in their back. And we found the duct tape in the car. On the duct tape, we found the drug dealer's fingerprints. In conclusion, we believe that Dean was shot once from a far distance, then as the murderer came closer, Dean grabbed onto the murderer's sock, thus leaving blood marks in the pattern of fingerprints. Then the murderer shot Dean another 2 times to kill him properly. The drug dealer then grabbed the bag of drugs but left the duct tape and left the crime scene. All of this evidence points towards the drug dealer as the fingerprints on the duct tape, the blood on the sock, the denim jean samples, the text messages, the fact that he had stopped selling drugs when Dean started, and the gun belonged to his assistant all say he was definitely there at some point of the night for a reason unknown and when Dean had been shot. Seeing as we haven't found any other evidence to prove anyone else guilty, our prime suspect for the murder of Dean Johnson is the drug dealer. While I'm here, I'll also explain to you what a refractive index is. A refractive index measures the bending of a ray of light when it passes from one medium to another. This is usually from above to below water. So we have an angle of incidence, which is the ray in the vacuum in the circumstance, and the angle of refraction is the angle once it has hit the medium. So a refractive index is the ratio of the sine of the angle of incidence to the sine of the angle of refraction. This relates to our topic of the murder of Dean Johnson, because things are not always as they seem until you investigate them. Just like if you see something in the water, it won't always be as it looks from there. That is just like our evidence for the murder. We can't just presume someone is guilty by one piece of evidence. We have to fully examine the evidence up close to understand how it relates to our other evidence. Finally, I'd like to explain how important it is to secure the crime scene as soon as a crime has been committed. If we didn't save the crime scene and just packed everything up and clean up, then we would lose most of our evidence and not be able to figure out our crime accurately at all. For example, if we lost all of the evidence from a murder scene and the murderer set someone else up outside of the scene, then we would have to arrest the innocent person as we would have no evidence suggesting the other person committed that crime. This is why we need to save the crime scenes.